L10 is just one kind of meeting. You've got annual planning meetings, quarterly planning meetings, financial review meetings, one-on-one coaching meetings, Zoom calls, like there's all types of meetings. But the reasons meetings suck is almost none of you have ever had training on how to run meetings. And you have managers and leadership team people who run meetings every single day and they have no training on how to run meetings. And then you have employees that are showing up at meetings that don't know how to participate in them because no one's trained them. So of course meetings suck because we suck at running meetings, right? None of us would ever send our kid off to play Little League baseball without teaching them how to hold the bat or toss the ball or catch the ball, because they'd come home from baseball and they go, Daddy, baseball sucks. It's like, no, Johnny, you suck at baseball. I can't stand listening to entrepreneurs complain about stuff, knowing that at first principles, the root cause is you've had no training to do it. The reason business is difficult is you've had no training on interviewing people. Maybe you've done it 100 times, but you might have done it wrong all 100 times. You coach people one-on-one, but you've probably never had any training on coaching. You run time management and project management, and you execute meetings, you deal with conflict with no training. It's like there's these layers of skills that if we give our people those skills, it would make business, easier. Who here has people showing up late for meetings? Right, all of us. Who here as an entrepreneur ever shows up late for meetings? Almost all of you show up late for meetings, and you tend to show up and you go, sorry, I'm late, right? I've put a mantra in place now with all the clients that I've coached globally that when you hear sorry, I'm late, what it really means is F you, I'm disrespectful, my time is more valuable than yours. The CEO of the company can never, ever, ever be late for a phone call or a meeting, because if you are, what you're saying is your core values don't actually matter. So you have to create a system that allows people to then show up on time for meetings, right? If I don't want you to be late, what's the system that's broken that has you showing up late? If you haven't read my newest book, The Second in Command, go grab a copy right now on Amazon, and you'll learn how to unleash the power of a COO. And if you already are a COO, you'll learn how to really build an incredible partnership with your CEO. So we started to analyze that. We read the book Death by Meetings. We met with Pat Lencioni. We talked to Vern Harnish about his meeting stuff. We really sought to understand meetings. And what we realized was all of us book our meetings and phone calls back to back. We don't put a buffer in place. Now, I can't train you to put a buffer in place. That would be a good system. If we would all globally put 5-minute buffers in place, that could work. The system that does work is train everyone, and this is your customers, suppliers, employees, that every meeting and every phone call ends 5 minutes prior to the scheduled ending time. So if we start a meeting from 9 that goes from 9 till 10, you finish at 9:55. So what we do internally, and what I teach all my clients to do, is we start the meeting by reviewing the purpose and outcome and agenda. I'll go over that in a second. And we say, by the way, I know the meeting's set from 10 till 10:30. We finish at 10:25 so we can show up on time for our next call. And they go, wow, nobody's ever done that before. On the agenda part, I say no agenda, no attenda. So if somebody is requesting you to show up for a meeting and it doesn't show you the purpose and outcome and then what you're covering, in what order you're covering it, and how many minutes you're spending on each agenda item, have people say, I can't come until you finish this. Why would they ever say yes to show up at something if they don't know what that purpose is? And it allows the person booking the meeting to actually book it for less time, because you think about what you're covering, you think about how many minutes you actually need for each agenda's item, so Parkinson's law doesn't expand the meeting to be too long, and then you'll actually get more shit done with less people faster. So these are like the simple systems that we use to scale not only 1-800-GOT-JUNK, but I built Gerber Auto Collision. So Gerber's about a $2 billion publicly traded company. I was one of the 3 co-founders of the franchising group for Gerber, now a big public company. College Pro Painters, anybody heard of College Pro? I opened the West Coast of the United States for College Pro. It became the largest house painting company on the planet. Kimball Musk worked for me back in 1993. So I trained Kimball and his COO, Peter Reeve, who built Solar City. I trained both of them 30 years ago. These systems are really simple to easy systems, but they're not, again, taught in a lot of the operating systems out there. These are kind of soft skills of leadership you need to be good at. People will often always say, let's get together for an hour, or let's grab an hour coffee. I try to book it for half the time I first think about booking it for. It's like a quickie. You can get it done in less time if you need to. Think about if you an all-day meeting, book it for 4 hours. So when you build in these little systems, again, you control Parkinson's law, but that little structure doesn't take away from the synchronicity that can happen. It just allows people to go, okay, I have a container. I know you're serious about contributing. I'll be serious about contributing. And you can still build in time to check in with each other, make sure you're on a good, what's on with your life. But it doesn't just stretch on to whatever. And you end up having meetings. Let's say you have more than 3 or 4 people coming to a meeting. there's probably a good chance that if you're covering more than 3 or 4 topics, there's a couple people that don't need to be there for all the topics. So you start to realize when you look at the agenda who really needs to come, and then you can allow people to stay at their desk and work on projects that are a higher ROI for their time than just showing up at every meeting.